The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
If it's not over already with a loss tonight, it certainly is over. Does that mean a fire sale is coming for the New York Jets? We'll talk about the latest reports on that and much more with Jets insider Nick Faria in his weekly spot on the show. It's Halloween, baby. Cowboy Jake Asman's here. And guess what? This show starts right now.
This is the same old Jets. We have Aaron freaking Rodgers. We have Garrett Wilson. We have Breece Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinnen Williams. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show.
Here we go, Jet fans. Welcome in, everybody. Happy Halloween. Appreciate all of you for your support. I will be at MetLife tonight. No, I'm not going as an empty seat, but I will be dressing up for Halloween as a disgruntled Jet fan. And for more on this game tonight and the possibility of a Jet fire sale, we say hello to Jets beat reporter Nick Faria. Nick, happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, Jake. It's the be-all, end-all for Jet fans. Either they have been shown that they are going to be selling, or there's going to be a sliver of hope at 3-6 after tonight.
Look, until they get 7 losses, I'm still obviously rooting for wins. The fact that the Jets are actually a favorite in this game is still wild, and I understand why when we break it down and go through it. But still, anyone who's watched the Jets play during this losing streak, it's just wild to fathom a 6-2 Texans team is a slight underdog in this one. But it's Thursday night, and until they're done, Nick, the Jets still do have an outside shot to at least make the season relevant before the bye week. How do you view this game this evening?
Well, this is massive for the future of the Jets. You look at this team at 3-6. I think all of us, including myself, believe that they don't really show anything. Yes, you can beat the Texans, a playoff team. And that would all be very well and nice and, get a nice little mojo boost after a 5-game losing streak. But does anyone really think that this team can turn it around for the rest of the remaining games on the schedule? That's very hard to believe. We haven't seen consistency from the Jets all year and in the last couple of years. So it's really hard to just assume that a win tonight is everything. And it pushes the organization to say, hey, we've got something here. Let's see what else we can do to add to this roster and sort of bulk up where we need to be in key situations. A loss essentially tells you the season's already over. Everyone understands it's already, but another loss here would put the nail on the coffin. And then you would have to have some legitimate conversations about some future players that are on expiring contracts, players that may not be returning after this season, potentially moving on from them. This is a massive, massive game to determine where Joe Douglas is going to go moving on.
Nick, when it comes to this game in particular tonight, what are your thoughts of the fact that the Jets are actually a 2-point favorite in the game?
Well, when you think about it in terms of just overall record, it's ridiculous. You've got a Texans team that has played pretty well overall. They haven't been dominant, but they're still a Super Bowl contender. And you have a Jets team that hasn't played a full good fourth quarters in their entire season to this point, and really dating back to last season. So you look at this game and you say, how in the world are the Jets favorites? Well, you have to look at the Texans' offensive line concern. Really, really banged up along the offensive line. They don't have the receiving core that they originally thought they were going to have with Stephon Diggs and Nico Collins out. So there are reasons to suspect that the Jets could be a tougher matchup for Houston and other teams like the Indianapolis Colts. But again, it goes back to this. Can the offense figure it out? Can the offense finally figure out a way to break the huddle in a quick and look efficient, look like their heads are on fire, and that this is the last chance for them to actually produce as a team. We haven't seen that this year, and if the offense cannot figure it out, it looks like it's going to be another loss because you have to trust that C.J. Stroud and the Texans offense will have a plan against this Jets defense that is just battered both mentally and physically.
Nick, I really think the only way some Jet fans can start to buy back in, and it could actually be legitimate buyback, is if they, of course, win tonight, but they win with Aaron Rodgers resembling anything close to what we saw the last time this team played on Thursday Night Football. Also, the last time they won a game. Rodgers this week talking about how he found a fountain of youth from cayenne peppers from Thomas Morstead. Says he feels good health-wise. I mean, am I wrong in saying that? If Rodgers looks good, maybe there is still something to cling to if you're a Jet fan trying to grasp for anything at this point?
So I get that mindset. It's just so hard to see because as good as Aaron Rodgers can look against the Houston Texans, the positive side of it, do we really think he can put it together for 2 straight games? I mean, the one game where he looked dominant and unstoppable for the Jets offense, they came back and responded with a 10-9 loss to the Denver Broncos. Aaron Rodgers has looked good at times this season. He made a couple great throws against the New England Patriots. It looked really, really solid at times. But then at other times, it just was mind-bogglingly confusing. The pass protection didn't work out. The running game wasn't working. They had a killer penalty that ended a drive. There's just so many reasons why the Jets have proven any sort of positivity coming from this game shouldn't be considered that the season is saved. 3-6 is 3-6. It's very hard to come back from that. It's not impossible, but you're essentially asking the Jets to go 8-1 the rest of the way. That is very likely when you look at their upcoming schedule, the upcoming games on their slate. It's very hard to see that happen overall.
Yeah, I completely agree. And look, they would have to win tonight and then win the next 2 to have any chance, in my opinion. I wouldn't buy back in with just one win. It would make, next week and the week after, before the bye, watchable. And you do have winnable games against Arizona and Indianapolis. So 5-6 to the bye, you got some hope. Maybe you get healthy and you can do something, but they got to do it. And I don't think they're going to win tonight. But until they're, mathematically eliminated or at least get that 7th loss, I think if you're a Jet fan, you should obviously still be hoping for this team to win some games. Now, beyond that, though, the reason I wanted to have you on, you've written about this week. There's been some stories coming out from various outlets, including ESPN, about the possibility of the Jets becoming sellers, maybe having a potential fire sale after just 2 weeks ago. They were buyers when they added Devontae Adams, and then they were able to get Hassan Reddick finally in the building with a rework deal. Your thoughts on the possibility of the Jets becoming sellers by this November 5th trade deadline?
It's unfathomable to think about where this team was just a few weeks ago, trying to bring in Hassan Reddick and Devontae Adams. But that's the reality of the situation. I kind of compare it to Steve Cohen and the Mets last season, where they were going nowhere. They had a lot of players that were older that weren't going to be returning after this season. And Cohen essentially said, I will bite the bullet now, recuperate some assets, try to rebuild our farm system through trades, and we'll just eat some salary this year to be in a better spot for the following season. That's what I think Woody Johnson and Joe Douglas have to do here, because I still don't think they're going anywhere after this last loss to the Patriots. And I'm not blaming any fan who thinks otherwise, but it's really hard to see how you come back from losing to the least talented team in the NFL to this point. So you want to get as much value, as much draft capital as you can for some players that will not be returning for next season, whether it's Tyron Smith, Morgan Moses, Tyler Conklin. DJ Reed is a player that you have to look at, where the likelihood of him returning is pretty slim. Are you willing to sort of anger some of your current players on the roster and get a nice draft pick, whether it's a second or third, for a player like Reed, who has been really, really good this year? So it's a decision that Woody Johnson and Joe Douglas are going to have to make. I don't think a full fire sale is needed, because that would require guys like Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner, your core pieces, to be moved. And I think that would be a very, very foolish mistake. But what I call is a soft sell, getting rid of players that aren't going to be returning, that aren't part of your future plans, off of your roster and off of the salary, where you can get, even if it's a fifth, a sixth, a seventh round pick, just recuperate some draft picks to help yourselves out a little bit.
Who's the most valuable player they have that they could actually deal and get something for? And I'm not talking about, Garrett Wilson or Brees or Sauce. That's not going to happen this season, nor do I believe it should. But as far as some of those veteran players you mentioned, for me, it's Reed. Would you agree he's the most valuable asset if they were to actually trade some of their vets?
You can throw in DJ Reed. I look at Tyler Conklin potentially as well. Two players that are pretty productive this season overall, but do we see them really bringing them back? I mean, they have to get long-term extensions done for Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson and Brees Hall, these other guys that are going to be available for long-term extensions this season. I don't see Reed or Conklin really as a part of the future plans if this is going to be a minor rebuild where they're drafting a rookie quarterback again. It just makes a lot of sense for me for both players. If they lose today and they're trying to sell off pieces, you can probably get a third, a fourth round pick maybe for Conklin, and really a borderline second rounder for DJ Reed with the way he's playing.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking with Jets beat reporter Nick Faria. He will be at MetLife Stadium tonight covering the Jets and the Texans, where many Jet fans on Halloween will seemingly be going as empty seats in this building tonight. That said, I do have some extra tickets I'd love to give away to some fans. Maybe a parent could take a child to their first Jet game tonight, give them that experience. Also, I just saw your super chat here. Jake, I have 2 extra tickets tonight, section 106. I want to give them away for someone's first game. Do me a favor. If you transfer the tickets to my email, which is in the description to this video here, I'll do my best to give some away. I've given away a couple so far. I wrote a message in our Discord chat this morning for all Patreon members. So if anyone's looking for last-second tickets, free of charge, let's try and get some Jet fans in the building tonight that maybe can't typically afford to go. We'd love to give them that experience. So very nice of you, shoot me an email. And if anyone is still looking for some last-minute tickets, let me know, and I'll do my best if I still have to send them your way. NYJ writes in typical Jet fashion, the Yankees had the game in their pocket just to give it away. Error by error. When will New York sports be relevant again? I was there, and I'll say this. That was one of the worst sporting moments I've ever witnessed, and I'm just going to leave it at that because I can't even talk about it. But as far as when will New York sports be relevant again, I mean, look, the Knicks were really good. The Mets were really good this year. I mean, the Yankees were just in the World Series. It's not like they're not relevant.
We throw words around for nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, the Yankees are relevant. They were in the World Series.
Yeah. Come on. It's disappointing, obviously, but let's stop with the relevant stuff. 25 says, I hate the New York yard sales. The fact that we're even having this conversation, Nick, and I've said this a lot this week, like even if you didn't think the Jets were as good as what maybe some felt, never in your wildest dreams would you imagine this team would be 2-6.
No way. Maybe 2-6, maybe 4-4, 5-3. Nothing like this. I mean, they just look defeated. Go to the locker room. They look like a team out of answers, and it really is staggering when you think about it.
25 says, random comment, Bobby Midnight Show is wild. Yes, it is. Tyrone with a super chat. New season with 9 games. Start tonight. Only thing is every game is a playoff game with maybe one loss to give. Let's go Jets. Bleep stats and analytics. Miracles happen. Plus, it's been done before. Look, Tyrone, I'm not going to tell you how to fan. If you believe, great. One game at a time. And this team does have some talent to certainly play better. And the one thing you could point to, and obviously, they're 2-6. It's not good enough. We all understand that. But it's not like they're getting blown out in all these games. Like, we're talking about a kicker costing them some wins. We're talking about some just mental mistakes costing them some wins. This is not a team that's being destroyed every week. During this 5-game losing streak, 4 of them have been by 1 score. And the one game that wasn't, they should have won going away. It felt like they were up 9 with 2 minutes to go before halftime in Pittsburgh. And then it all fell apart. So at the end of the day, the Jets continue to beat themselves, much like the Yankees did in the World Series. But I mean, it's tough to picture it right now. But Tyrone, if you want to believe, hey, you got to get a win to stop the bleeding and go from there.
I mean, it has happened before. He's not wrong, but you don't have a game to give. And the reason why I say that is because the teams that you have to jump, you do not have the tiebreaker over. You'd have to jump the Steelers, the Broncos. All of them have at least 5-6 wins to this point. And could either team struggle down the stretch? Of course. I mean, rookie quarterback Russell Wilson, no one knows how he's going to look later on throughout the rest of the year. But you got to go through a lot. And yeah, maybe 10 wins gets you there. But if it's tied at 10 and you're tied with the Steelers and Broncos for the final wild card spot, you're not getting in because you don't have the tiebreaker over either team. So just makes a lot of sense right now. It's got to be a win-out situation. Move forward with focus on today, continue to go to week-by-week basis, see what you can do on a little bit of a mini run here and see what happens. But they have not shown anything to prove that they can win one game, let alone 9 in a row.
We are presented by Underdog Fantasy today. New customers deposit and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Nick, I'm just going to go through some stat lines for this game tonight. You tell me if you would go higher or lower, and based on how you answer, I'm going to put together an underdog slip. We're going to call this the Farias special for those watching live. All right, here we go. Aaron Rodgers, 236.5 passing yards, higher or lower?
I'll go lower.
Lower on passing yards. CJ Stroud, 223.5 passing yards. Higher or lower?
Lower.
Next one, Devontae Adams, higher or lower on 4.5 receptions?
Higher.
And one more, Joe Mixon, 82.5 rushing yards, higher or lower?
I'll take higher.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nick's picks are as followed. Rodgers, passing yards, lower than 236.5. CJ Stroud, passing yards, lower than 223.5. Devontae Adams, higher than 4.5 receptions. Joe Mixon, higher than 82.5 rushing yards. Let's put $10 to win $71.40 with Underdog Fantasy. I will share that exact link in the live chat right now so you can take those picks from Nick and you could make them your own, or you could fade Nick Faria and see if you could win. If you've never used Underdog before, it is a blast. Just make sure you use promo code Asman when you sign up to support Underdog as our sponsor. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Mr. Reality says trade Sauce for a haul. Stingley turned out better. As someone who covered Derek Stingley's first couple years in Houston, you're an idiot, Mr. Reality. That is just not true. Derek Stingley has struggled to stay on the field. And while Sauce has not had a Sauce-like year and he's coming off maybe the worst game of his career, to say that Stingley has turned out better tells me you know nothing about football. And for that, I will not stand for this. I will not allow this to happen on Halloween of all days. And we will simply say, Mr. Reality, thank you for tuning in today. But unfortunately, your day is officially over.
Now look what you've done. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the Sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give them another 24 hours to think about it.
Needed to be done, Nick. Needed to be done.
Okay, Sauce Gardner has not been the player that he was the last couple of years. It's not like he's 27, 28 years old. He's in his third season. Not every young player is going to be great every single year. That's not what's going to happen. Quarterbacks go through struggles. Cornerbacks go through struggles. Offensive linemen go through struggles. The fact that people are so willing to move off from Sauce Gardner because of his worst season to this point is staggering to me, because as bad as he's been as a tackler, as mediocre, I would say, as he's been in coverage, he's not really been mediocre, but compared to his all-pro years, he's been significantly worse overall. He's pretty damn solid. Look at the coverage grades. They are not showing a player that is bad to this point. I find it absolutely staggering that so many people want to trade Sauce Gardner simply because he's having his worst year as a pro. And even then, it's really not that bad.
Ladies and gentlemen, super chat from the great Dark Knight Steve. Can we start doing mock drafts on Fridays again? Let's get Cole Thompson on and start mocking, as I need something to look forward to. It's not even November. I'm with you, Steve. Hopefully they can win tonight and we can delay the mock draft talk. But, Nick, let me ask you just about the Jets' long-term future here, right? If they lose tonight or they lose next week, whenever they're basically done, if it's not already done. When you look at what this team needs going forward, Joe Douglas's future, Jeff Ulbricht's future, I doubt he's back. How do you view this upcoming offseason in terms of the direction Woody Johnson is going to take this franchise?
Well, it's very interesting because his conversation, his idea around Joe Douglas will be something that gets looked at. Again, this is an owner 4 weeks ago, when he was talking about why they made the move off of Robert Saleh. He mentioned that the roster was the most talented one he's had in 25 years. That is a very significant comment to make in that instance with a GM as poor as some people want to say here in this chat. So determining what happens with Douglas, I'm of the belief that they're not going to simply fire him. They just simply will not renew his contract. I think ultimately, will Woody Johnson want Douglas's opinion on a new coach? Maybe not. They'll look at other things that were problems with him. He couldn't figure out the quarterback position, couldn't figure out the offensive line. There are reasons outside the 29-62 record that Douglas would be fired per se, not renewed in terms of a long-term deal outside of just the record. And that's why I say they might be looking for an executive first. You look for a head coach. I think there's a legitimate conversation to be had that they could be looking not just for a quarterback in the draft, but also finding a head coach who's an offensive-minded guy. Whether it's Ben Johnson, Bobby Slowick, I think they'll start with the executive and sort of just go back to the beginning in a lot of ways on their team in terms of their leadership group to just say, hey, the last group didn't work out. The last regime didn't work out. They gave us a lot of blue chip talent. Now we got to find a guy to put it all together.
Super chats are coming in. Thank you to everyone for your support. How about we get some channel memberships here on Halloween? I'll give some myself if I can get my YouTube stream to load, but we're always looking for more channel memberships because we need some more channel emojis to help commiserate this Jet season. Michael with a good point. Didn't the Liberty just win a title? Yeah, for those who are into the WNBA, the Liberty did just win a title. The idea that New York sports is not relevant is not true. Unfortunately, both the football teams are just terrible.
Yeah. And listen, we can talk about the Liberty. They're great. They had a great run. When your football teams are combined, 4-12, not going to cut it.
Nope. Joseph writes in, Jake thinks they're winning tonight. I guess you have not listened to the show today, yesterday, the entire week. I do not think the Jets are winning tonight. Joseph, thanks for your time. Your day is done.
He stinks.
Yep.
1, 2, 3.
You're fired. Suck it, truthers.
God, I can't with people. 25 says trade Sauce or Breeze for a ransom. No, and that wouldn't happen in season anyway.
Again, you need a top cornerback to win in the NFL. You're willing to give one up for what? A first and a second round pick? Are you sure that first and second round pick will be as impactful as Sauce Gardner has been throughout his career? No way.
Come on. What are we doing? Comments, questions, super chats here. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything here. I'll post the Gusbuster hotline link as well. We're not going to have Nick on as long as we normally do because he's driving right now. So we're squeezing him in, and he'll join us, of course, early next week. As far as Aaron Rodgers' future, a lot could still happen between now and the end of the year. How do you see it ultimately playing out, though, if I had to ask you right now? Is he a Jet next year? What do you think happens?
I think he retires. I really think so. And there could be a path. There could be a path to him to say, listen, this year disaster. I don't want to go out like this. I will come back for another season. And Woody Johnson, I would assume, would be very happy to have him back. So there is a chance, there's an opportunity there for Rodgers to come back and say, run it back, draft a quarterback with the first round pick if it's the high one, and let's really see if we can turn the team into a win. Rodgers has been really he's the right job, and he came here for a reason. He came here because of a plan and ownership and everything about it. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens. I think right now, gun to my head, he probably retires, but there's also a chance that he just says, screw it, I'm not going out like this.
I could see him back with a new coach, new GM. But my question, Nick, would be like, you would hope they still go quarterback in the first round at that point. Like they're no longer in the business of, oh, we're all in to win around Aaron Rodgers. It's, hey, you could be the quarterback. We still got some talent on this team. We think we can compete with better coaching next year. But we're also thinking long term, and drafting the guy in the first round, having that guy sit behind Aaron Rodgers is also not a bad strategy either.
100%. I think that's the go spot because when you look at where the Jets are, they can't compete next season. They've got the talent to do it. Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, Breece Hall. Your offensive line's got a couple foundational pieces with Joe Tippmann. A lot of positives here on offense and defense as well.
Nick, do you hear us? We lost you there. Your Wi-Fi is not great.
Yeah. Oh, damn. Can you guys hear me now?
We hear you. Yes, sir. Finish your point because you got cut off there as you were making it.
Yeah, so just going back, the only way the Jets can really build a sustainable winner is if they draft a quarterback and have him sit behind a veteran like Aaron Rodgers. The exact same thing that Rodgers was dealt when he was a rookie coming out of college for Brett Favre. The Jets have to do that here for this next quarterback. They have to let him sit for a season instead of forcing him into the starting lineup in week one. Get it right, do it the right way, and you will see this organization succeed.
Nick, I'll let you run because the connection is a little in and out, but I appreciate you popping in. I know you're covering the game tonight, and we'll get you on next week.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Nick Faria with us there. A little tough with the connection, but good insight from Nick, as always. All right, we'll mix in some calls as well. I want to continue to get to your super chats here. For those going to this game tonight, or if you know anyone who is going, I'll be hanging out with the Gotham City crew. We'll be in lot J3 tailgating. So come stop by and say hello. Even if you didn't pay for a tailgate ticket, you still could enjoy and say hello. I'd love to meet a bunch of you people going to the game and commiserate all together. At least the weather's going to be really good, right? I mean, how often the last couple of years has Jet fans, not only had to watch losing football, but the weather's terrible too. So at least on Halloween, it is nice weather. Now, will the Jets play well tonight? I have no idea. I really don't know what to expect tonight. If you told me they win, I wouldn't be shocked. I think they lose. I'm not picking them to win, but it's a weird game. Texans got a lot of problems. They're not as good as their record indicates. Their O-line has been in shambles the last few games. It's their first game on a short week without their number one receiver in Stephon Diggs. We know Nico Collins, who actually is their true number one, has been out. He's on IR for at least another week. And the Jets did beat this team last year, so they could win tonight. And eventually they're going to win. They're going to win some games here. But it's tough to pick them right now. It really is. Yet somehow they're a favorite in this game. Edward Ziff writes in, why the hell would you trade away all our talent when all we need is better coaching staff to elevate the players? I agree. When we talk about a fire sale, we're not specifically talking about Sauce Gardner or Garrett Wilson, for example. You're basically talking about players on one-year deals that likely won't be on the team next year. DJ Reed, Tyler Conklin, maybe Morgan Moses. Although, I'll say this, what's the rush to get rid of Morgan Moses? He's still playing at a very high level. I know he's banged up, but he's playing through injuries. I don't know if it's like we got to get rid of him right away. I think you listen on everyone, though. Mike Williams, I think, is a goner. There was a report from ESPN that if the Jets win tonight and Mike Williams plays a role, they won't trade him. If they lose tonight, they will trade him. That was from Jeremy Fowler at ESPN. I don't know. I think Mike Williams could be traded either way, but Alan Lazard's out again tonight. So he's at least going to be, one of their starting three receivers. But, last week, Sunday, can't even say last week, a couple days ago, Mike Williams ran like 33 pass routes, and he wasn't targeted once. The only time he was targeted was on the 2-point conversion attempt, and that technically doesn't count. So one target the entire game, basically. Jersey Jet says it's easy to chant USA, USA if you really want to be patriotic, invite a vet to a game. Well, Jersey Jet, if you know any vets that are looking for tickets tonight or would be interested, please let me know. I'd love to pay it forward to honor any of our veterans out there. Cooley Boy says, just because Olu will eventually play doesn't mean he was the correct pick. Guess what? Bowers plays, Ruckert plays, Olu do nothing for us in an all-in year. Yeah, look, I can't sit here and say I'm thrilled with the fact that Olu's not out there. But the whole point of drafting Olu Fashanu was to have depth because you figured Tyron Smith was going to get hurt, not be awful. You know? I really can't kill Joe Douglas for that. I'll get on him for a lot of other things, as I have this week. But Tyron Smith was a second-team All-Pro last year. I don't think anyone could have imagined he would fall off like this. I also still like the Olu Fashanu pick. If he ends up being a long-term starter at left tackle, it's a good pick. I know Bowers has had a very good year. He's also their only healthy option right now. And he's good, but he's a tight end. And I'm just not going to sit here and be like, oh, bad job by the Jets until we see how it plays out. Remember, the Jets were getting killed for not drafting Broderick Jones. He stinks. The Jets were getting killed for not drafting Jackson Smith and Jigba. He's very average. Will McDonald is second in the NFL in sacks right now. So sometimes you got to wait more than just a year before you evaluate a draft pick. You can criticize Joe Douglas for many things. I think getting on him for the Olu pick at this point is very unfair. That said, I don't want Joe Douglas back as the GM because he has failed this team again. NYJ says Ranger Asman needs to go undercover at One Jets Drive and find out what he's planning for the 2025 Jets. Ranger Asman, Cowboy Jake, Brokeback Mountain Jake. Happy Halloween. Tom A said I look like Clint Eastwood, which I like. Hit the like button if you're tuned in right now. More importantly, we are approaching 40,000 subscribers. This might be my last chance to do it because many of you, if the Jets lose tonight, are going to check out. And I get it. But before you do that, please hit the subscribe button. We're under 50 away from 40K. It's free to subscribe to the channel. Now, if you really want to support me, become a Patreon member, patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. You get a bunch of great perks, including Discord access, bonus shows that are not on YouTube. You also get your name added to the intro, which we will be updating after tonight's game. So check out that. Plus, we offer 15% off every item in the merch store when you're a Patreon member. It's patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. Huge shout out to Elijah and Dan for being our two most recent Patreon subscribers. Michael writes in with an Asmaniac super chat. I really hope they hire a young, dynamic offensive mind as head coach. Enough of these defensive coaches. And sorry, no Rex, although I do love him. I think when it comes to that, to me, I look at it like this. Either offensive-minded head coach, young offensive-minded coach, like Ben Johnson's like the number one. I don't think he'd come to the Jets, but you got to at least try. And then, if you can't get him, you need to hire someone with experience that's done it. Because I'm tired of Woody hiring first-time defensive coordinators to be head coaches. It worked with Rex, but it has failed just about every other time. Saleh, Bowles, Mangini, even though Mangini obviously did make the playoffs his first year. Herm was a defensive guy. This team needs an offensive-minded coach or someone with experience that has won before. And maybe that's Mike Vrabel. Maybe if the Browns were to fire Kevin Stefanski, you could get him. That's how I'd look at it. Jack says Woody Johnson needs a spanking. Thank you for that, Jack. Your calls right now on the Gusbuster hotline. Alec K is first today. Hey, Alec.
Hey, Jake. How are we?
Hanging in, man. Hanging in.
Tough night last night.
Yeah. Don't worry, though. After watching the Yankees gag away a World Series game in one of the worst moments of my life, I will be at MetLife tonight to watch the Jets pick me up because they always do.
Man, as soon as November 5th comes around, I'm hoping to have a lot more free time to be able to go see a lot of football. So hopefully I can get up and see some Jets games with y'all. That would be great. I think talking about fire sale, I know we're talking more. I think Nick used the term soft sale. I'm gonna go back on my comment from last week. I will take that GM conversation and sit down that you said to do with the Jets. Yeah, I'll do it because I can't listen to one more person talk about selling off this whole roster. We have 26 guys who are coming off the books at the end of 24. Literally, like 6 of them are over the age of 30. If you're telling me we should be selling off 25, 26, and 27-year-olds who have barely had time to develop, have had dog shit coaching, and if I look at one more person associated with this organization and find out that they're past Tennessee Titans associated, it's just getting very clear to what the problems are. We've poached talent, we've poached coaching, we've poached executive positions from bad teams who have spiraled out after having very, very short, like big pops of success. And that's exactly what we embraced. We thought, hey, let's have this short window with Rodgers, and then afterwards we're kind of screwed. We'll figure it out. And at this point, the conversations are just delusional. We're talking about selling off an all-pro who's 26 years old, 25 years old. What are we talking about? I understand we're frustrated as Jets fans. I understand stuff is not working out right now. But what are you guys talking about? Who are you as fans? Are you guys just blind? Do you watch football? Have you ever played football? Have you ever considered how to build a real roster? Or are you just living in Madden and fantasy football? Because I'm infuriated watching you guys talk about trading off guys who have high ceilings, who have bad floors because of terrible coaching. Coaching is the problem. It's not these guys who have unbelievably skilled and have shown high level ceilings. It's just absurd. The amount of money that's coming off the books, we should have some flexibility. Just the doomerism is insane. It is just absurd. We have a handful of guys close to 30. There's like 5 or 6 of them. Sell those guys. That's Mike Williams. That's that's a Tyron Smith, Wes Schweizer. That's a Solomon Thomas. Like, they're pushing 30. Those guys are fine to sell. Nobody's gonna like lose sleep over that shit. But you guys are fucking insane. I can't listen to one more Jets fan talk about losing first rounders, second rounders that have been better than the guys drafted around them. I don't care about one tiny little season. If you're talking about one data point, you're insane. I'm sorry, Jake. I'm losing my mind. These people are killing me today. So if I get on Jets Twitter one more time, if I go on our Jets Twitter thread that has all of the guys covering news and shit, I'm going to lose my mind. I can't do it. Today has been the worst sports day ever, and Jets fans are making it so much worse by being absolutely brain dead about the way they look at football. That's why we're a shitty organization. You have fans who make knee-jerk reaction, and ownership reacts to it. Ownership reacts to you guys being shitty fans who want to get rid of all of our talent. It's you guys that are partially responsible for giving them this idea of instant gratification, or we can't be successful. It is us. We are part of the problem. Own your actions. Own what we are responsible for as fans. Stop getting tickets. Stop getting jerseys. Stop buying shit for the games. Don't go, and then stop telling them to get rid of good talent that just needs proper coaching. If you have anybody else coaching this team that has any type of experience, we are a winning roster. Saleh almost got us enough wins. We have kicking issues. Saleh almost has us as a winning team. You guys are delusional. So, Thursday morning, screw it. Happy Thursday, guys.
Happy Halloween, Alec. Look, here's how I look at it, right? People are just so fed up and frustrated. But the idea that the Jets should jettison some of their all-pro level talent is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Now, if you get a Jamal Adams like offer, you think about it. If we're talking about like non-premium positions, you think about it. But you know how hard it is to find these good players? Right? Joe Douglas is not a great GM, but think about how bad it was before he took over some of the draft picks. And while I agree it's time for Joe to go, there should be someone else. You know, the idea that you get rid of some of this great talent. No, these are your building blocks. You just need to get better coaching around them, more stability. It's hard to find some of these players the Jets have found. You gotta draft, you gotta develop, you also gotta have the right coach. I mean, it's hard. That's why football is really, really hard. Because as we've seen, it's not just about talent. If it was, the Jets wouldn't be 2-6. You look at Pittsburgh, like, to me, they're the best example of this. The Jets are so much more talented than Pittsburgh. Sure, that Pittsburgh's got some of their star players. They got superstars. They got a TJ Watt. They got a Minka Fitzpatrick. Pickens is a very good receiver. But come on. In football, the coach and the quarterback are the two most important positions. Head coach and the quarterback. And it's tough to have any sort of long-term success without having either. That's why what Tomlin does, I think, is amazing, because it's not like he's had great quarterbacks. Dan writes in, if Lowski gives the Jets pregame speech, we can't lose. Ha! I'd make Lowski the head coach at this point. Can't be worse. 25 with a super chat. Alec, we have zero faith. You think we'll make the right hires to properly coach? Trade the players that can get you the most back. Yeah, but 25, you were talking about trading Brees and trading Sauce for a ransom, which I think is moronic. Moronic. Because you're saying you don't trust the Jets you don't trust Woody Johnson to hire the right people. So what gives you any faith that the Jets will trade away their already known to be very good players, and then the new GM is then going to hit on those draft picks? You have no idea. So no, I'm not trading away Sauce. I'm not trading away Brees. I'm not trading away Garrett. That's moronic. More of your calls right now. Happy Halloween to Neil, who joins us. Hello, Neil.
Jake, this idiot took me off the lawn of a neighbor. I was having my dinner party at the last time the Jets won a Super Bowl, and he gave me a cigar, and that was the time that we're going to come back from the dead, like me, and finally win a goddamn game and go forward with some season. And then I will bury you December 8th at Miami. That's my take. What do you think, Neil? Well, let me tell you. Happy Halloween, everybody. My buddy here, he wanted to make about 17 points. I told him he can't do that. There's only one person who makes 17 points. But let me take his cigar out of his mouth. Jake, sorry about the Yankees. It's just another brick in the road.
It's hard when you're that close and you feel like, I thought the Dodgers were the better team going in, but I think the Yankees played them dead even. They beat themselves, and the Dodgers didn't make any mistakes defensively. That's the difference.
There you go. That was, talk about coaching. Let me tell you, the Dodgers made no mistakes. Defensively, they did all the right things. They literally made no mistakes on the defense, and the Yankees kind of imploded there in the fifth, and that was the end of it. That's all they wrote, It was
kind of imploded. I mean, that's one of the
that
is one of the all-time meltdowns,
in
regardless of sport, you will ever see.
It was bad. It was bad. But that last caller, I hail to him. He has the young energy of what I would have been saying about 30 years ago, hearing the bullshit coming out of everybody's mouth about draft picks and sell and this and that. I mean, look, the reality is this. We have a roster. We're poorly coached. And, with a poor coach, you still have an opportunity. And I think we are going to kill the Texans tonight. I see so much negativity and so much bullshit coming out of these fans on how bad we're going to play and how it's over and everything else. It's not over. We are going to win tonight, 33-13. That is, 31-13. That's my prediction. It's not even going to be close. And I will see you guys on Victory Friday. And I want this to be played on Victory Friday. Win, lose, or draw. If I make an ass out of myself, Jake, put it up here and let me hear it. If I'm right, and I think I will be, we're going to have a nice day tomorrow. And by the way, the weather, Jake, one good thing you have to say, God forbid we do lose,
At least you're not going to be sitting in the car. I just keep thinking about that Jacksonville game. That was a Thursday night game, right?
That was a Thursday night game.
Man, oh man, was that heartbreaking when you had to sit in the rain and watch us score 3 points with Zachariah. And then, at least now, yeah, when you think about it, right? We got Devontae Adams. We, Bart Scott made a very, very good point yesterday. And I tell you, Bart Scott has to become a coach because his takes are just absolutely amazing. And he said it very simply. He said, I would like to see a six-man line with Olu Fashiono next to Tyron Smith, which I agree with wholeheartedly. That will give Rodgers max protect. You could use Conklin on the right side to chip, and that will take away their pass rush. And now you could give some time for Devontae and Garrett to reach the route tree and maybe get some longer passes downfield. And will also open up some running lanes for Brees in the backfield. I think that's an ingenious take by Bart Scott. Second take he made on the defensive side, which I've been saying it for all along, we got to put a fifth man in the box the entire game and get him on the line of scrimmage, move him around, and create some pass rush because we have to take advantage of the fact that the Texans have a beat up offensive line. And to fantasize in the fact that with a beat up offensive line, we still won't be able to get to him with a 4-man pressure. We got to do a 5-man pressure on the line, blitz, and let it roll, baby. And if we do those things, there's no reason we can't romp tonight. Out.
Neil, never, ever change. You are somehow, some way, still this delusional at
I'm
2
not
and 6.
delusional. I'm not delusional.
It is amazing that you are not only picking the Jets to win, which we expect every week, but I mean, you might be worse than Greg Buttle, 31-6 or 31-13.
13. We're going to give him 13 points. 7 will be a junk touchdown at the end of the game.
Incredible.
These goddamn exploding cigars. I gotta go, Jake. I'll call back later. Shit.
Incredible. Neil, I love you. You're the best. I hope you're right. I would like it if you actually picked against the Jets, though. You said Dodgers in 5. You were right about that. Brutal. I know there's like a slight echo, I think, when I go to callers. It's because I'm not wearing headphones, so the StreamYard's messing things up. But I wanted to wear my Halloween cowboy costume for this first show here. So I apologize, but appreciate everyone still tuning in. Hopefully, let me know in the chat. Like, the audio, for the most part, is okay, though, right? I know Nick had some connections earlier, but for those tuned in live right now, I just want to make sure it doesn't sound brutal. It's still my normal mic, but I think with calls, there's a chance of a little echo. So just wanted to clarify that for those who are tuned in live. Wow. Dark Knight Steve just dropped an epic $100 super chat. Steve, you truly are one of the all-time greats.
Now, give me money. Or I shoot him. And I shoot all you motherfuckers. And then we take it. Your choice, bitches.
Incredible. Alec K, in keeping with the silly season, you called us Jet fans everything except garbage and deplorables. And I do know football as a former 2-time National Pop Warner GM of the Year. And in my professional opinion, this team stinks, and you blame the fans. Shake my head. Well, I'm with you, Steve. I don't think Alec is wrong with his overall take on, like, people need to take a chill pill, like, don't just trade away all your good players because this year's been incredibly disappointing. Like, that's silly, you know? Like, everyone's got to take a breath. But where I will push back on Alec, and I agree with you, Steve, it's not Jet fans' fault why the team's 2-6. All right? Just like it wasn't Nick fans' fault that the team was trash either. You want to win? Hire the right people. The Mets were a joke too. And then what happened? Obviously, ownership change, which is not going to happen with the Jets, but the Mets hired the right people to run their baseball operation. David Stearns, Carlos Mendoza. And before that, they had Buck Showalter in place, and he took the Mets to the playoffs. You need someone with experience, I think, for the Jets. Another name I would seriously consider with the right GM, I'd bring in Pete Carroll and let him clean up this mess for a couple of years. Maybe he could hire a stud young coordinator that eventually is like the next head coach of this team. They need a grown adult running the show. Pete Carroll with a real football guy, I don't think is the worst thing in the world. I think he would take this job. He can handle the New York market. He's won before. Try and stabilize some things. And if it's not Carroll, like, you need someone to me that's done it. Tony writes in, hi, Jake, great content. I was wondering if anyone has an extra ticket or two for tonight. Tony, please shoot me an email right now, asmanjake@gmail, and I will get you 2 tickets. I have a lot of extra tickets because a lot of people don't want to go, which I get. So let's try and get them the people that can use them so we can still root on this team tonight and at least for a week, stop the bleeding. Bang Mateo, Jake, don't you get warm and fuzzy at Sauce for 2 firsts? Bang, I really don't, because I don't see that being a viable trade. Who's offering you 2 first-round picks for Sauce right now, given the year he's had? Why not just keep him and hope that a guy who was a first-team All-Pro his first 2 years, with better coaching and this team being better next year, can get back to that? It's not physical with Sauce right now. I think it's mental stuff. And he's not getting beat like a drum every week. Last week was bad. It's not like it's been every game. There's been games this year he wasn't even targeted the entire time. I really don't want to defend Sauce because I was so disgusted by what I saw on Sunday. I really was. I destroyed him on the radio immediately after the game. But I'm also not going to sit here and act like Sauce Gardner is like one of their biggest problems right now. He's not. I think that's ridiculous. 25 says, I want to win so bad, but we're going to get blown out. Car salesmen and insurance salesmen are going to be there catching touchdowns. I mean, in the parking lot, maybe. I don't know if this has anything to do with the game. Hit the like button. It is free, as Rich says. Also, some housekeeping here. I said this last week, but I forgot to remind the people. If you're the listener who gives either Tom Ace or Rich their channel memberships, we're sending you items in the merch store. Because it's ridiculous that the 2 of the great Asmaniacs that support the show aren't channel members right now. So keep that in mind. Tom writes in, do we think Pete Carroll has fond memories of coaching here? I wouldn't mind him coming back. I mean, it's so long ago, so I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. All right. Let's get to more of your calls right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Jay Quest is next. Hey, Jay Quest.
What's up, Jake? How are you?
What's up, man? Love the hoodie.
Thank you. Listen, win, lose, the draw. Never going to stop watching. I love the show. Love the community. That being said, I called about tonight's game. The last few weeks, we've been right there. We're not finishing games. We're finding ways to lose. What happened in the past is in the past. Let's beat the Texans. And let's start a little stacking, right? Stack the fucking wins, and let's go. Now, I was on hold, excited, but then Neil called and guaranteed a goddamn victory. We're fucked. He's going to screw us. Neil cannot guarantee a victory. He's got to go the other way, man. Killing me. He's a fucking jinx. I love him, but he's a jinx. I don't know, man. Listen, happy Halloween. Love the Brokeback Mountain costume.
Thank you.
Win and have a great time tonight. All right, guys?
Jay Quest, I wish you were going, man. Appreciate you. Thanks for the support as always. Neil is a jinx, though. 31-13 is just outrageous, even for Neil standards. 31. And look, I hope he's right. All right. 31-13. This team hasn't scored 31 all year. I don't believe. Yeah, they haven't. Dre has gifted a 5 spot of channel memberships. Might be the last time we play the Douglas video because I don't know if anyone trusts him at this point. Hey, at least the Jets finally will have a new kicker tonight. It's probably going to be Riley Patterson if I had to guess. All right, let's find out who got some memberships here. Brian Glick, John FL, The Underrated Darkness, ISVYX, all receiving a channel membership. Gem Y receiving a channel membership as well. If you want a channel membership, click on Dre's name and make sure you have in your settings that you want to be able to receive a gifted membership. And then you have to be subscribed to the channel and like the video you're watching right now. And you got a chance to get it according to the YouTube algorithm. And right now I'm at 39,058 subscribers. So we are approaching 40K. So I appreciate everyone. Jose Sanchez supporting the show. He's made it rain with a 5-spot.
Show me the money. Show me the money! Money, money, money.
Here we go. If you hear your name called, you are a channel member, courtesy of Jose Sanchez, Bill M., Les Mildenberg, Roman, Xavier M., and Alberto Lyons. Welcome to all our new channel members, and congrats to Jose Sanchez for making it rain. Oh, we're not done. Wow. We haven't had one of these in a while. Community coming out to support. Board Fat dropping a 5-spot of channel memberships.
Money, 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 money.
Here we go. 5 more names will be called. Ladies and gentlemen, Galaz, Oss, Thomas Carrieri, and Platinum Toast received a membership, plus Ryan Hawk. How about that? 15 memberships just like that. Thank you to the community for the support. You guys are awesome. Another quick reminder, by the way, this show's available in podcast form. So if you want the audio version of the show, check Apple or Spotify, search The Jake Asman Show. You'll find it there. And a reminder, tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern, Joe Beningo joins us to recap tonight's game. Will it be a debacle or a Jet win? Ladies and gentlemen, Dark Knight Steve in on the membership gifts. A 5-spot.
Money, 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 money.
J8 Silent Bob, Gangrene, Brian Farrell, Steve Smith, Hector Cabrera, all receiving a membership. How are Rich and Tom not getting memberships? I'm glad everyone is getting them. I'm baffled by how YouTube does the selection process. All right, let's get to more of your calls right now. Say hello to Q. Hello, Q.
What up, Jake?
Q, thanks for the time. I'm going to need you to put some clothing on. God. I think you called the wrong show, man. Ladies and gentlemen, more of your calls.
Warning, warning, Allen alert. Shit's about to get ugly, folks. Warning, Allen alert. Hide the children.
Hey, what's going on, Jake? Good morning. First of all, I was at Yankee Stadium 21 years ago when Josh Beckett silenced us. So last night must have been quite a sight to be there. Oh, my God. What a shit show in that 5th inning. I'll tell you that.
The first 4 innings were euphoric. Like, it was almost going too well. It was insane, man. I mean, literally Judge was Judge, and he looked good in game 3. He had good at-bats, and I'm like, okay, or game 4. I'm like, okay, positive. And then, he was Aaron Judge. He made that unbelievable catch in center field. Stanton goes deep. Chisholm obviously already had a home run right after the Judge at bat. Cole's pitching a no-hitter with 49 pitches into that 5th inning, and that's not one of the worst moments of my life. There's no doubt.
3 comments. First of all, did Nick Barrios say we can get a 4th-round pick for Tyler Conklin? Are you kidding me?
I think he was talking about Reed. I think he lumped Reed and Conklin together.
No, he actually said Reed first, late second, and he said Tyler Conklin for a 4th. I almost fell out of my chair when I said that. You are lucky if you get a 2026 7th for Tyler Conklin. No one is giving you anything for that guy, okay? That's one. First of all, Neil, congratulations on your Dodgers pick, but I do agree with him on one thing. I do like 31-13 tonight, but I do like the Texans at 31-13. That's more likely to happen. Okay, so again, if the Jets win by more than 2 touchdowns, I will donate 20 memberships right after the show. You can guarantee it. You can post it. Okay.
So let's get it on the record again. If the Jets win by
on the
20,
record, if the Jets win by more than 2 touchdowns, I will donate it right after the show. And I always come through with my memberships. Okay,
I love it.
You're
Alan. You're like a Lannister that always pays off his bets. You always pay off on your memberships.
I do. They are not winning tonight. And again, the over 82.5 yards on Joe Mixon is such a lock. You can't imagine. Okay, if I say a buck 75 and 3 touchdowns tonight. Okay. Finally, to my good friend Alec, okay? I don't need a 25-year-old kid on his computer yelling at Jet fans who are frustrated. Shut the fuck up. No one wants to hear from you, okay? Jet fans have every right to be pissed off, okay? And when he says, oh, no, Sauce shouldn't be on the table, I absolutely gauge the market on Sauce. Do I trade him? I'm not sure I do. Do I give him a second contract? Why should I give him a second contract? Yeah. The guy has stone hands, can't catch the ball, 32 straight games without a pick, and he's petrified to tackling anybody. So I don't need somebody to be on a computer screaming at Jet fans because they're frustrated about some of the high-end talent not performing up to par. It was ridiculous, that take, okay? Again, when you said...
And Alec joins us now to respond. Hello, Alec.
Alec, you are ridiculous. You can talk all you want.
I thought I would just come back because you wanted to act like I'm like a child or something. I'm 30 years old, just so we're clear.
Sorry. I apologize. 25, 30, same thing.
There's a massive difference, first of all. And secondly,
great.
I just think it's comical to come in here with this negative attitude, man. Acting like the comments we're making aren't realistic. Nobody's saying the Jets don't have to gauge the market. You don't sell all pros. I'm not saying Jets fans are at fault. I'm saying you are at fault for giving them money and approving what they are doing by giving them money.
Tackle anybody.
If you give somebody money, you're justifying their decision making. So if you give the Jets money after they put together a 2-6 season, it is absolutely your fault for saying, "Oh, yeah, what you did is totally fine." I'm a massive fan. I've been a fan my whole life. I'm not giving them a fucking dollar because you put together a terrible team. That is our fault as fans for giving them money and saying, "Continue to do what you were doing." If you take that personally and you think, "Oh, I'm on a computer. I work from home, brother. I'm making a job. I'm doing my job, and I'm taking some time to hop in here and talk about how the Jets are literally screwing fans over. Because we're screwing fans over,
Don't all talk over each other. We need some decorum.
Delusion.
I would gauge on anybody. If someone wants to call about Sauce, if somebody wants to call on Brees, if somebody wants to call on Garrett Wilson, my ears are wide open.
What do you think is a reasonable return for both of those pieces? And more importantly, what do you think an actual NFL team is going to give the Jets for them?
I'm not delusional. Here is the Sauce take, okay? That's the guy I would honestly thinking about trading. If somebody offers me a first and a third, I would.
So you're hoping that first rounder turns into Sauce Gardner, right?
I'm not hoping anything.
You're hoping that first rounder could maybe be as good as Sauce Gardner, right?
Who's afraid to
but he doesn't get thrown to, right?
Okay.
So
he doesn't want to tackle, and he has 32 straight games without a pick. Okay, I don't want to give that guy.
It doesn't matter. Do they throw him? Do they throw at him?
What?
Do they throw at him? Do they challenge him?
Okay, last week they threw at him, and he let Keyshawn
How many times?
all over him.
How many times? Yeah. Corners get burned, bro.
Okay.
Tell me right.
I was being told in the chat the audio was too choppy, so we had to unfortunately end that. But a good back and forth nonetheless. Apologize for the audio issues. The problem is it sounds good on my end and I can't tell, so I rely on you guys in the chat to let me know. Man. Real quick, let's get caught up on some super chats from some awesome listeners. Dre, what's up, Dre? Thanks for the memberships before. Happy Halloween, Jake. I'll see you at Jet Live tonight. Where's everyone meeting up? J3, Gotham City Crew Tailgate. I think they're sold out on tickets. However, if you show up, you still might be able to get in last second. You still could stop by even if, you didn't pay to go to their tailgate. Meaning, like, obviously you can't have the drinks or the food that's there. But if you just want to stop by and say hello, I'd be happy to meet anyone going to the game. And Dre, obviously, you're with us. So I'll see you tonight. Look forward to that. Storylyn writes, we cannot change our OC. This has been the most production we've had in years. Changing the OC never works. I mean, you're not changing the OC now, like in season. I mean, Downing's the guy for the rest of the year, but when a new head coach comes in, he's going to hire his own staff. And I'd imagine he's not going to have Todd Downing remain as the OC. It's kind of how it works. Jeffrey says, for Neil, I'm a believer in your belief. If you don't believe, then what's the point? Jets in a stunner. Gotta love Neil's never say never, heart of gold. Heart of green, gold. I love Neil. If you tell me the Jets win tonight, I'm not going to be shocked. I wouldn't pick it myself. I wouldn't be shocked. I really wouldn't be. I mean, on Halloween a couple of years ago, that Mike White threw for 400 yards against the Bengals in his first ever start. Like, crazy things happen in the NFL. Any given Sunday, any given Thursday night on Halloween. And the Jets have never lost when I wear a cowboy hat on my show the day of a game. So that's got to be factored into the equation as well. But Neil saying 31-13 is incredible. More of your calls right now. JJ's next. JJ, will you be at the game later?
Yeah, well, actually, I was gonna say I need 2 more tickets though. I was about to buy them, but if you're giving away, I'll take. If you can.
Message me. I got you.
I'll email you. Is that the best way?
Yeah, and a couple people have already emailed me. I will get back to Anthony and Dulvis right after the show, and now you too, JJ.
All right, cool. Now you're probably gonna regret saying this after I go on my little rant here, but the problem with Allen is too much of an extremist, and the problem with Alec is too a little naive. So that's why that their back and forth didn't go too well. But at the end of the day, let me tell you what this team needs to do. This team just needs to win football games, right? We don't need to do a fire sale, even if we lose this game, because there's still 8 more games out there, and if you just play better football and you win some games, actually the easy part of our schedule is coming up after we play the Texans. So even if we lose this game, you still have 8 more games. You don't need to do a fire sale. You just need to play good football and win some games and get a kicker on this team. And Aaron Rodgers he needs to play better. I know everybody's going to blame Greg Zuerlein, but we didn't sign Aaron Rodgers so that way we would have to depend on a kicker to win us games late. We signed Aaron Rodgers so he can go down there in the fourth quarter and score us a touchdown. And albeit he did it against the Patriots, so kudos to him. But the prior couple of games, he hasn't been able to do it. And the problem with this fan base is we wait so long before we want to admit to ourselves we are wrong. Like, a lot of people wanted Robert Saleh, and it turned out to be wrong. A lot of people thought Joe Douglas was a good GM. They turned out to be wrong. But instead of admitting that we were wrong 2 years ago when it was clear, we kept making excuse after excuse after excuse. We got to stop with the excuses. We got to stop with the excuses and just look at what we see on the field. Now, with that being said, I know you guys are going to think I'm crazy, but I don't think that we need to go get Rex Ryan back, because Rex Ryan, once again, is another perfect example of us being delusional Jets fans. When he left the Jets and went to the Buffalo Bills, he was mediocre. And everybody's going to make the excuse of, oh, yeah, well, he didn't have a quarterback or whatever. He had Tyrod Taylor. And if you guys remember, in his first couple of games when he was winning and they had a good start to the season, he was bragging about how, oh, I wanted Tyrod Taylor on the Jets, and I tried to get him from the Ravens, and whoever it was, Tannenbaum told me no, but look how we're doing. And then at the end of the season, when they fell off a cliff, Rex was the same guy who turned around and said, oh, well, I didn't have a quarterback. So let's not have revisionist history about Rex Ryan. Rex Ryan only had 2 good seasons, maybe 3 if you want to count the first year with Geno Smith, but he only had 2 good seasons, and those 2 good seasons were in his first 2 years. Every year after that, he got worse. He didn't get better as a coach. So all you people who want Rex Ryan back, you guys are crazy. And then number 2, it's not that we keep hiring defensive head coaches and that's why we fail. We're hiring the wrong coaches in general. It doesn't matter if they're defensive. It doesn't matter if they're offensive. It's just the wrong guys, right? And Mike Vrabel is available. If we go out there and we get Mike Vrabel, a proven commodity who showed us what he can do, That's an easy pick. And to be honest with you, I actually wanted back in the day. I was a huge Mike McCarthy fan. I know some people have their opinions on Mike, but he gets the job done. And this year, they're not doing too good with the Dallas Cowboys. But when you look at Aaron Rodgers, right? Aaron Rodgers didn't like Mike McCarthy. He wanted him gone. He left. He goes to Dallas. He's been doing a pretty good job. You know, they just got to win a playoff game, but at least he's consistently getting his team to the playoffs. Aaron Rodgers also didn't like Matt LaFleur or Mike LaFleur, whatever LaFleur it was. Didn't like him either. How have the Packers looked without Aaron Rodgers? I mean, pretty much the same. It hasn't been a huge difference. So when Aaron Rodgers was saying Robert Saleh is such a good coach and he wants to play for him, that was a little head scratching to me because you didn't want Mike McCarthy, you didn't want LaFleur, and look at what these guys have done without you, but you wanted Robert Saleh. So I don't even know if Aaron Rodgers, we give him way too much credit. I mean, he's a great player on the field, but at the end of the day, when he goes up to the line of scrimmage and Todd Downing calls a play and he has to sit there for 25 seconds and try to make the perfect play and it ends up not working anyways because we don't have a good enough O-line, like just listen to the play call that Todd Downing called, go up to the line, call the play, and let's run the play. Like I'm tired of him always trying to check into the best play and act like he's this great offensive mind. No, you're a great talent, Aaron Rodgers. You're a great talent. I'm sorry, but you're not Peyton Manning. You're not Tom Brady. He's never been known to be this great football mind. He's a great player, but there's a difference between Tom Brady and Peyton Manning and Aaron Rodgers. He has all the talent in the world. He doesn't have the mental. And prior to him coming to the Jets, none of his teammates were raving about him. I mean, I know you can pick out
JJ. I gave you enough time. I'll get you your tickets, but there's so many things you're just incoherently wrong about. Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers had a great relationship. Aaron Rodgers saved Mike McCarthy's job countless times. Countless times. Ask any Packer fan how they feel about Mike McCarthy and the type of coach he is. Seriously. I'm not saying he's a bad coach, but he's not a great coach. And just because he's won regular season games in Dallas, yeah, he's got an amazing roster. And give him credit. He's obviously won with it. But they haven't won anything in the playoffs. I think he's won one playoff game since he's been down there, and it was against an under 500 Tampa Bay team in Brady's last year. It's the only playoff win Mike McCarthy's had. I think. Maybe there's one other. Give me a break. And also, your criticism of Aaron Rodgers are to me, unfair. He's not the same guy. If you can't see that, I don't know what to tell you. He's 40 years old. He turns 41 in 2 months. He's clearly playing through an injury. And this team around him is nowhere near the team we thought he was going to have around him, too. Mike McCarthy's going to be fired this year. And Rodgers had a good relationship with LaFleur. He won 2 MVPs under the guy. And just because he said nice things about Robert Saleh, that doesn't mean that when he actually started playing for him, he knew he was a good coach. We learned, obviously, Robert Saleh wasn't good enough. But no, the Jets should not hire Mike McCarthy. I agree with you on Vrabel. That's the only thing you said I agree with. I would hire Mike Vrabel. To me, it's not about offensive, defensive when you're talking about a guy that's had success. If we're talking about a first-time coordinator that has never had success, right? Never been a head coach. Success as a head coach is what I'm talking about. That's when I want to defer to the offensive coordinator, right? If you tell me it's first-time OC or first-time head coach that's an OC, has an offensive background, or first-time head coach that has a defensive background, I'm going offense. Like, there's no way I could hire, even though I think he might be a good coach, he might not. I have no idea. I can't hire Aaron Glenn. Can't hire the first-time head coach that's a defensive coordinator. That's what I'm talking about. But saying like Aaron Rodgers isn't good at football, like, come on, man. You're going to try and dismiss his career? You could talk about him with the Jets. The guy's one of the 5 best quarterbacks of all time. He's got 4 MVPs. He has the best touchdown to interception ratio in NFL history. And even though this team's 2-6, if they had a kicker, they have a few more wins right now. That's a fact. People don't want to hear that because it's like, oh, it's so much more than just a kicker. And yeah, it is. But you know what? A lot of teams have problems around the league. The Jets aren't the only team that's very flawed. There's going to be some flawed teams that make the playoffs in the AFC this year. The 6 and 7 seed might be 9-win teams. That's what sucks. Why the season, I think, is even more painful just beyond like the losses. It's that you're losing these games when everything's wide open for you. That's what's so frustrating. Like this is the year for the Jets to be good. It's a down conference. All you need to know about how people view the AFC, one of the 6-2 teams in the conference you're playing tonight, and you're actually a favorite over them as a 2-6 football team. 25 says Rodgers is in good football mind. Is JJ on drugs? Yeah, I mean, he sounds like Colin Cowherd there. I mean, come on, man. Now, does Rodgers need to get the play in? Obviously. Yeah, I mean, I think they need to go up tempo tonight. I would start in 2 minutes. Give the Texans something different. I would love to see that tonight. So the Jets definitely won't do it. Terrell writes in, see everyone tonight looking for one ticket for a girlfriend. Terrell's email me, and I should have one ticket for you. My email is in the description. JJ with a super chat. I never said A-Rod's not good at football. I said he's in a great football mind like Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. Proof is all the delay of games. That's not proof. That's not, you know what? I can't. If you feel that way, good for you. Good for you, JJ. I don't have it in me. More of your calls right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Dark Knight Steve is on the line. Hello, Dark Knight Steve.
Good morning. Alec is all fired. Man. I got a question. Is our organization got screwed where JD would going to listen to fans rant, make football business this? Like, come on, like we're frustrated for all kinds of things. I think a lot of these people are like, oh, trade balls, get the ball, whatever. I think it's because it's probably not the right way to go, but I think it's, hey, we need to take this thing down to its bones, see what we really have. We probably want to build around the young guys, but I think it's just take stock of everything we have because we really know the season's over, right? And the fact that it's, the season's over because, fans are going crazy and the ownership's going to listen to it. The owners didn't listen to the fans last year when we were calling for a backup quarterback to sign when we were still, in it. They didn't listen to us when we were saying, hey, we need to add a kicker. There's a problem with Zerline since the preseason. Right. So I think, Alec is just trying to get some clickbait here. He's trying to just, stir the pot a little bit, which I can appreciate. I do enjoy it. Him and when Alan were pretty good going at it. So I just think, don't trash the fans. I mean, we're here. We're going to be here. We're going to, we're going to stupidly spend money on this team. And I think we talked about it previously, like us not buying merch, us not going to games. That's not where they're making their big money. It's the TV contracts. Right. So us spending a few bucks to make it ourselves feel better in this abysmal, season. It's what we got to do, to kind of stay in it, groups like this kind of talking about the Jets love and misery. I'm pretty confident they're going to win tonight. And for the only reason is because them winning tonight makes it more complicated on moving forward on what we need to do in the future. If they lose tonight, it's easy. It's we start, getting rid of some guys, getting some picks, kind of starting to plan for next year. But by them winning this week, maybe next week, and kind of keeping us alive, number one, it's what they do to us as Jet fans. And number two is it gives us no clear path for the future. So happy Halloween, everybody. I got to go put my costume on. I just got done with work. And nice hat, Jake. Y'all have fun at the game tonight. And, go Jets. It's gonna be eerie. I'm definitely going to be seeing. I know that.
Dark Knight Steve. You're the man. Thank you, Batman. I love it. And thank you for the super chat earlier, too, Steve. That's awesome. You're the best. Good to hang out with you in London a few weeks back. Yeah, I will never begrudge any Jet fan for being upset because this fan base is so loyal, so passionate. And, like, if you're still watching this show, you're a real Jet fan. Think about it. Team's 2-6. You still care. PZ Western writes in, as I click on Tom Ace's comment about a nipple by accident. Aaron Rodgers really tainted his legacy coming to this team. Team sucks, fans suck, and they're blaming him, and he's on pace to break Jets' single season passing yard record. PZ Western, with all due respect, get out of here.
Just shut the fuck up. I did not ask for the dumb opinion that came out of your ass, so shut the fuck up.
Ridiculous. Couple things. Rodgers is not tainting his legacy. Obviously, his New York legacy is not going to be great if they don't turn this around. He's an all-time great football player. Stop it. But the next comment you make is so silly here. Oh, the fans suck. You're blaming the Jet fans are not bad fans. They're amazing fans. Have you not seen the love that they have showered Aaron Rodgers with since he's been a Jet? Like, are you living under a rock? This fan base wants to believe. How many Aaron Rodgers jerseys I have seen over the last 2 years attending games or meetups or anything? Give me a break, dude. He obviously hasn't played great. He's not their only problem, but he's part of it. He deserves some blame. He's not blameless here. My thing with Rodgers has always been he wasn't. I never thought he was going to be MVP Rodgers. I expected, I expected him to not be a top 5 quarterback anymore. I thought he'd be around that 12 to 15 range, if you guys remember. He's probably been so far this year closer to 18 to 23, depending on the game. Outside of the one game, which was on a Thursday night where he was a top 5 quarterback that night. So hopefully we see that tonight. But it's not just him, man. This defense went from top 3 to not even in the top 10. Like borderline top 10, and they completely folded last week against an awful Patriots team. He hasn't had the great running game we thought. I put a lot of that on the coaching, Keith Carter, etc. And the special teams has failed him. Greg the Light couldn't miss last year. If they just had last year's Greg Zuerlein, we'd be defending Aaron Rodgers, being like, look, hasn't been pretty, but they're winning games. They're 6-2. They're 5-3. He's doing what he's supposed to do. He's playing competently, giving the team a chance to win. That's all we were asking for at the beginning of the year. That was the whole premise of this team going from 7 wins to being in the playoffs. And if he's better than that, competing for the AFC East, as we all said. People seem to forget that. Snowball, we've broken Aaron Rodgers. I don't know. I don't think so. I think he plays well tonight. I don't know if it's enough to win, but I can see him having a good game. JJ says, you want me to care about A-Rod's 4 MVPs. Eli Manning's going to the Hall with 2 Super Bowls and still loved by his former team. A-Rod got thrown out of Green Bay. I mean, that's a little extreme. He got thrown out of Green Bay. Did Tom Brady get thrown out of New England? Sometimes people get divorced, man. 20 years anywhere is a long time. Please. Got thrown out of Green Bay. He also, I think, wanted to leave at that point. Just like Brady wanted to leave New England. Daddy writes in, got tickets. Just saying daddy sounds weird. I'm going to read his full name. Daddy Dev. Got tickets for $7 tonight. Might break out the clown costume with a Jets jersey on top. Hey, no one would blame you. 25 says, we are broken. The fact that we're talking about trading our young core is so telling. The fans are amazing, but we are so hurt. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't kidding when I used the word irreparable damage being done to this great fan base. The season's taking a toll. I hope they could turn it around. Mike D says, Jake talking up Mike McCarthy because he'll be our offensive coordinator next year. Talking up Mike McCarthy. Are you watching the same show? I was not talking up Mike McCarthy. Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. More importantly, if you're one of the 600 people watching live, please subscribe. I have received a ton of emails now from people wanting tickets. I'm going to do first come, first serve. I will respond to everyone after the show, but I have to check to see if I have enough for everyone. Q, I need you to restart your browser and then I can go to you. Q claims that his shirt is on this time. But I couldn't tell off air if that was true. All right. More of your calls. A lot to break down. A lot to get into. Let's say hello to Q and see if his shirt is on. Hello, Q.
It's on. Don't worry. That won't happen again. I saw your cowboy hat. I got a little excited. Maybe. I'm not a shirt guy. Typically.
This is not actually Brokeback Mountain, okay?
Thanks for having me. You know, I love Halloween as a Yankees and Jets fan because I can just walk outside in my normal clothes and I'm still dressed up as a giant a-hole. But I I agree with you a lot. I think we're asking Rodgers to do a bit too much at 40 years old off of the Achilles. I think it's a little unfortunate that our defense is kind of taking that natural regression, in my opinion, this year. Especially, I think we're feeling the loss of JFM. But I wanted to ask you, maybe you covered this, I haven't heard it, but I mean, it sounds like our fan base is pretty divided. Do we have a fire sale if we lose? Do we not? I think ultimately it comes down to we have a general manager that's fighting for his job. And I don't know if he would be willing to have a fire sale. And every time I think about it, you know, catch me on this certain day, maybe I feel one way or the other. But ultimately, all roads lead to Joe Douglas and Woody. And I don't think that any move is going to be made till after the season's over. So how do you reconcile that with, you know, obviously I don't think that we should necessarily have a fire sale right now, but even if we wanted to, I don't think it's going to happen. I think JD's fighting for his job and he wouldn't sell.
Well, my question would be, like, what's JD's future with this team? And like,
True.
what if Woody goes to him and is like, hey, we're 2-7. I want to do what's in the best interest of the organization. We need some more draft capital. We're not going anywhere. I don't think they're going to do anything because I think Woody's going to be like, well, easy schedule. And we have Aaron here. And I feel like I owe it to him to try and win as many games as possible. And, you know, I think Woody also cares about perception. And I feel like if he goes from being a buyer 2 weeks ago and the Jets are sellers, he'll hate the attention that will get in a negative light. Even though any smart fan would realize that's the right thing to do if you're 2-7. Don't stand pat and do nothing with a lame duck GM and a team that's going to look very different next year with a lot of these vets going elsewhere. Like, but that would be the smart thing to do, which is why I don't think the Jets are going to do anything, even if they lose tonight.
I agree. But at least we'll be wearing black to our own funerals. Hope, maybe, who knows? But yeah, appreciate it. Enjoy your Halloween. Don't eat too much candy or I'm not your mom. And enjoy your weekends, everyone.
Cute. Appreciate it. AKA Jake Paul. JJ says Jake looks like Jimmy from Yellowstone. I've actually never seen Yellowstone. My dad loves that show. I've been meaning to watch it. I've heard very good things. Comments, questions, super chats. We will continue with that. Earlier, Neil referenced Thursday Night Football and the famous Jacksonville Jaguars rant. I will play it, and we'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already.
Well, we start with the quarterback. All right, I'm going to get into it. We'll take your calls. I'm sure the Zach truthers will try and make excuses for Zach Wilson. Enough. He sucked. He was god-awful. And tonight was Zach Wilson's last start as the Jet quarterback ever. Barring injury, he's done. I'm sorry. I hate saying it. It's not personal. He seems like a nice kid. He's not the answer. He's not. Sorry. I don't want to hear any other takeaway from this game. You want to blame the offensive line? Sure, blame them. They were not good tonight. You want to blame the defense? That's the laziest take, and we're not allowing it. The defense allowed 19 points. That's a bad effort. They're on the field the entire game because this quarterback stinks. And I like Zach Wilson. I've defended Zach Wilson. I've tried to be patient with Zach Wilson, but it's enough. Zach Wilson truthers, he stinks. The guy is terrible. He stinks. All right? Stop defending him. He's got the lowest passer rating in the NFL this season, the lowest completion percentage in the NFL this season. He had the lowest passer rating in the NFL last season. He had the lowest completion percentage in the NFL last season. He hasn't gotten better. I was patient with Zach because he does have talent, because he does have potential, but it's not working. It is not working. He is not the guy. This team is too good to be 7-8. All right, this defense had a, quote, bad game. They gave up 19 points. 19. And how dare the defense do anything? Come on, man. The quarterback stinks. He's not the guy. He has not improved. He has not gotten better. He is the same quarterback we saw last year. I defended him last year because we saw flashes. You see that from rookies. Then they get better. You know who got better? Trevor Lawrence got better. All right, watching some of the throws he made tonight. You know who got better?
Justin Fields got better. Zach Wilson hasn't gotten better. Period. You need your quarterback to make plays. They had 3 points against a Jaguars defense that allows over 23 a game. They're a bottom third defense. You're at home. Your season's on the line. And you scored 3 freaking points. Enough. I'm not dealing with the Zach Wilson truthers. If you're a Zach Wilson truther, you're out. You're not on the show. You're gone. We're not doing it. If your takeaway from this game is not that the quarterback is holding this team back, I don't know what to tell you. I can't help you. Seek help. I know I need help because I sat in MetLife and I'm going to have pneumonia from this garbage. Enough. I'm tired of it, man. This team is too good to be 7-8. They were 6-3. I'm tired of it, man. I'm tired of it. They have everything in place besides a franchise quarterback. And I don't know if Mike White's the guy, but I know he gives the team a better chance to win the last 2. And then I'll bring him back, and I'll bring in Jimmy Garoppolo, or I'll beg for Aaron Rodgers to come here, or I'll beg Derek Carr to come here. I don't know, but I do know the answer is not you run it back with Zach Wilson because, Jake, he needs more time. Enough. He's not playing well. He's playing awful right now. And the second any quarterback comes in, the offense magically looks better. Explain that. Oh, but it's Mike LaFleur's fault. Stop. You're embarrassing yourself. Man, I would love to have Mike LaFleur as the OC right now. So much better than what we've seen. While that was playing, JJ, I just sent you 2 tickets. So despite your call being one of the worst I've seen in years, you're welcome. All right. Let me get back to this here. And you know what's crazy? That rant is now going to be 3 years old. Nothing's better. In fact, you could argue it's worse because we thought they finally got the quarterback with this team, and they're still not winning. That Jets team was 6-3, 7-4. They were actually a quarterback away that year. This year's team is not because things we thought were strengths of the team have become weaknesses. Things we thought would be maintained, like the kicker not shitting himself week in, week out. Maybe he wouldn't only miss 3 kicks. You'd go 35 or 38 like he was last year. But you know, just like that, no longer is a given. Just insane. I don't even know if this team's going to get 7 wins this year. That team 2 years ago with Zach Wilson doing nothing and getting benched for Chris Strebler at one point finished with 7 wins. Just brutal. Ladies and gentlemen, more of your calls right now. Let's say hello to one of the all-time greats. His name, V-Man.
It's time for V-Man to talk about Puerto Rico and his Puerto Rican roots.
V-Man, we can't hear you. We cannot hear you now. Is your mic connected? Why don't you try again? We'll bring you back. Thanks for the time, V-Man. Storyland says, check out Beast Mode on Club Shay Shay on Rodgers. I've seen it. Yeah, Marshawn Lynch loves Aaron Rodgers. Loves him. Said he was the best teammate he's ever had in college. Let's see if we can hear V-Man this time. Hello, V-Man.
Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Yeah. While I was waiting, I took a drink because I couldn't drink last night because I was at work for that game. I'm thinking about carving Fire Boone into my jack-o'-lantern. What do you think?
I mean, I think Boone is getting a lot of heat for the Yankees playing like a little league team in the 5th inning. I'm sorry. Aaron Judge got to catch a routine fly ball. He made one of the greatest catches you'll see in the World Series 2 innings prior to that. Garrett Cole's got to cover first base. Rizzo's got to take it himself. I mean, come on, man. Anthony Volpe's won a Gold Glove. You got to make a better throw to third there. It's just, we're blaming Boone for that. Like, blame the players, man. Blame the players.
I get it, but like fundamentals ultimately falls back on the coaching staff. Like you got to make sure that they have the fundamentals hammered in.
I get it, but you know what? Like, I'm sorry. Make plays, man. We're not talking about anything that was that difficult. We're talking about a 5-0 lead with your ace on the mound, and you played like a little league team in the World Series. I don't know what to tell you.
But I get that part, but you know, if they're starting to unravel, call a mound visit to give them a second to breathe and clear their heads.
The inning was over. Cover first base.
Like I said, I get that part. I get that part. But like when they're starting, when the team is starting to unravel, call a mound visit, talk to them, and tell them like, look, just focus. And then the fact of the matter that he has the nerve to say the fielding is fine when they were bottom 5 all year in fielding is just like that. That part of the post game was not defensible in any means whatsoever.
I'm not blaming any Yankee fan that's not in love with Aaron Boone, but he's coming back. It's he's not going anywhere. They're not firing him after he got them to the World Series.
I know. Honestly, the Yankees are becoming the Cowboys, but they're worse than the Cowboys because the Cowboys at least have the thought in their mind that they know Jerry isn't going to be around for no more than 5 to 10 years. That his son's taking over, and maybe they have a shot at being competent again. Like we're stuck with Al for the next 30 years.
I'd rather be the Yankees than the Cowboys. The Yankees just were in the World Series. The Cowboys haven't been to a Super Bowl since the 90s.
I get that, but like I said, I'm frustrated from last night. That's why I just finished a glass of rum because I couldn't drink while I was at work. I was just so frustrated from that meltdown they had.
I understand you, man. Believe me, I'm not very happy today either.
You know what's funny is that like I was watching all the games that the Yankees content creators went to were the games they lost, while the games that they were live streaming from their homes were the games they won.
Well, I'm not a Yankee content creator, so don't blame me.
No, but
I went 2-1 in playoff games I went to this year.
Yeah, no, it's frustrating. Yeah, no, with the Jets though, it's like with this team, it's just like frustrating. It's been frustrating. And
are you smoking a cigar and you've already had a glass of rum?
Like I said, I was at work last night, so I couldn't drink out my frustrations.
Are you off from work today?
Well, I'm home right now. I don't work until like 8. I don't go to work till 9 o'clock. So I got plenty of time to get this alcohol out of my system.
I see.
But getting back onto this game, whatever happens in this game is whatever happens. Like they just need a clean house with this offseason. I don't mind if they sell off the guys who are on 1-year contracts. Look, whatever happens, win or lose, I don't have unless they pull a miracle out of their rear ends. I don't have faith in this team right now.
How come your eyes are closed, B-man?
Sorry, the glare of the sun's in my eye. It's on.
Have you thought about moving to a different location?
No, because it's the only spot that I actually have a good signal, and it can also smoke my cigar.
I see.
But with this, with some of the callers, I think JJ was a bit ridiculous. Like saying Aaron Rodgers doesn't have a football acumen on the level of Peyton Manning or Tom Brady. I would put him up there in the football acumen. And I gotta say, I love your football. I love your costume. I love Brokeback. But was it Brokeback Mountain? The only thing I wish about Brokeback Mountain is that Heath Ledger was still with us. That's it. I don't know what this New York sports anymore. It's so insane to think the Knicks are probably the most competently run team in New York right now.
Hey, man, I think you should stop drinking and smoking today.
Well, I gotta finish this thing, and I'm gonna probably I gotta put down my lighter. So
maybe you don't finish it. Maybe you just put it down and go inside.
I don't know. Maybe not. But getting back on this game, we'll see what happens. Maybe they can take advantage of a beat up Texan team now that they have a competent kicker that hopefully they can trust. Maybe they win this game. Maybe they kill this game. Maybe they keep their season alive for just a bit longer. Who knows? I think Allen's also a bit crazy because I think Allen's always had a screw loose in his up here. We'll see what happens.
Have you
Hope for
thought
the
about
best.
taking a nap?
No, I'm gonna just light it. No, because I need this right now. I mean, I wish I could go out and enjoy this game. I wish I could enjoy Halloween because Halloween is one of my favorite holidays. But I didn't have the day to take off, so I'm gonna end up having to go to work tonight. It'll be frustrating. I'm hoping maybe the Jets can at least take my mind off this miserable Yankees choke job. But we'll see.
Well, actually, no, you won't see anything because your eyes aren't open.
All right, Jake. I'll talk to you later, man. Have a good day, and I hope you get to see at least a watchable game of football.
I want to win. I don't care if it's watchable. I want to win.
Well, watchable game of winning football.
Okay.
How's that?
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right. Talk to you later. Peace.
Bye, V-Man.
That's the end of this V-Man call. Time for him to get back to pooping.
And smoking and drinking. Now that was a V-Man call. Dark Knight Steve, did Rich and Tom get memberships? I don't think they did, Steve. Crazy. We've added 20 members this stream, and they're not one of them. Ladies and gentlemen, more of your calls right now. The Hamburger's on the line. What's up, Hamburger?
Hey, what's up, Jake? How you doing?
You tell me, man. I'm hanging in.
Happy Halloween. So, before I get anything said, listen, I'm a Jets fan. I love the Jets. No matter what, I'm here. So for Halloween this year, I'm a delusional Jets fan. All right. So you all know how I feel and what I want done. A complete erase. But today I'm on board for the Jet train to get a win, to make some fans happy. So I'm all for it today. I'm pulling it together, and I'm going to give everybody a little JETS, Jets for the night. So bring it up. Ready? J-E-T-S, Jets. Let's go. I hope.
Love it, Hamburger. For the energy. Microfox says Jets went out. You're more high than V-Man. Oh, man. All right. Let's rapid fire through some calls here. Then we'll say goodbye. Indomitable's next. What's up, Indomitable?
Jake, what a disaster last night, man. Wow. Unbelievable.
I think a disaster is like putting it lightly, man. Like that is an all-time disgrace in the history of the World Series. I'll never get over it. I haven't felt that bad since I was at the Jet opener last year, 4 plays in. That was awful.
Unbelievable. Yeah, I'll be at the game today, but I don't know if I'll arrive on time. I'm driving from Connecticut to say hello to you and the other guys. But if you see me around, you can just shout Indomitable and we'll exchange, some hellos and let's go Jets today. And before I go, there's an underrated aspect that we're not taking into account, that if we take the whole team into question, the majority of these players like Quinn Williams, Brees Hall, Sauce Gardner, Clemens, etc., they've never won anything. They've never been to the playoffs. They don't know how to play winning football, in the sense that I remember I called you a couple of weeks ago and I told you, I think it was after the Broncos game, that I told you that the Jets need to learn how to win. At the end of the day, football is a team sport. And a lot of the penalties that we are seeing towards the third and fourth quarter, coaching has a lot to do with that, but also we are seeing a lot of mental blunders. In example, Clemens, or even Quincy Williams, he has done a couple of plays like pushing dudes out of bounds when the play was over and stuff. So collectively, we need as a team to learn how to close out the games, to win the game. Because when you look at that Patriots game on Sunday, and they let Jacoby Brissett look like Johnny Unitas back there. I mean, even the 1892 Yale Bulldogs could have made a couple of stops there, and we close out the game and we take the win. It doesn't matter if the win is ugly or if it's pretty. We're not looking for for medals or trophies here. We're just looking for wins. Even that Broncos game, if we would have won it, and if we would have been the worst game of the season for us, it still counts as a win. So we need to find ways to win, to close out the game, not only dominated, which is something that I've been stressing for the past 5 weeks, that every time that the Jets step on the field, they look like a peewee football team. They're not like a Pop Warner little league team, whatever, that they don't show dominance. There's no there's no like a menace, not menace in a Clemens violent, stupid way, but rather imposing, like the 2000 Ravens or something like that. Come out to the game with an identity. So hopefully we win today, and hopefully I see any of you guys. All right, so go Jets. Jets, Jets. Let's go.
Domable, appreciate the call, man. Hopefully I do run into you later. We'll be at J3 with Gotham City Crew. Boomtown, post-game show tonight, ? Yeah, of course, late after the game. Whenever I get back from the hellhole that is MetLife Stadium. Hopefully by 12:30 we could start the show. 12:30 a.m. Gator says, Jet chants lately are as exciting as waiting online at the electric chair. Oh, man. PZ Western, sorry, but I still think Rodgers is goated. I mean, he's an all-time great. He just hasn't played like it this year. It's not all his fault. I wasn't expecting him to be an MVP-level quarterback for this team. Dark Knight Steve, I got your very nice Venmo here for Rich and Tom. So these were so we weren't referring for Patreon. I was just talking about gifted memberships. But what I will do though is gift some memberships here and say they are courtesy of the great Dark Knight Steve. All right, so stand by, folks, because I'm about to make it rain courtesy of Dark Knight Steve. Stand by. I wish I could just do this from my phone because it would be a lot quicker, but YouTube's got to figure out a way to do that. If you're just tuning in, please like and subscribe to the video. That helps. Goes a long way. And these, once again, are from the great Dark Knight Steve. All right. Here we go. Do, 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 do. A 10 spot of channel memberships has just been dropped. There it is. From Dark Knight Steve.
Show me the money. Show me the money! Money.
Damn. If you hear your name called, you are an official Jake Asman Show Asmaniac channel member. Hold on. Everything is so slow right now. Alan Avital. Wow. Ugh. Matias Morales. Anthony DeRise. Antonio Ambrosio. Italian Stallion. Top Cat Warless. Sean. AD83. Ron G. Jose Oliveros. Love Jose. Jose is the owner of the phenomenal Mexican restaurant we did our meetup at training camp over the summer. Don Jose in East Hanover. Boom. 10 spots right there from Dark Knight Steve. Tom and Rich still didn't get one, though, so we'll keep trying. We will keep trying. More calls. Indy Jets, you're next. What's up, Indy?
Hey, Jake. This organization is so dysfunctional, and it's been like this for a long time. We are so quick to change when we have success. Go back to our playoff run that we had, 15 years ago. We had success, and every year we changed something. The first playoff game or the first AFC Championship run, we had Thomas Jones. They got rid of Thomas Jones, bring in LaDamen. Okay, that was about equaled out. But then we switched wide receivers. You go to the following year, we dumped the whole team. Why are we not building on success? But when we have failures, Zach Wilson or whatever, we seem to hold on to the failures and let the success go. Why do we do this?
Well, I mean, the example you gave with Thomas Jones and LT, I mean, to me, that's not a good example. But
that one is fairly equal. That one was one that but we swapped wide receivers, we swapped offensive coordinators. Mark Sanchez
it's poor decision making. All is the common theme here. I mean, whether it's the owner, the GM, the coach, like the Jets have gone 14 years without making the playoffs for a myriad of reasons. I think in this case, though, you bring up Zach Wilson, right? Like that to me is on the general manager being very stubborn last year. He didn't get a better backup. Now this year, he's making the same mistake with Greg Zuerlein. Like that's on the GM. There's things we could point to that Woody screwed up. There's things that we could point to that each of the previous head coaches since Rex, including Rex, has screwed up. I mean, this is what happens. This is how losing teams stay losing.
The one common denominator we've got through coaches, GMs, everything. The one common denominator that continues to stay there is the owner. The same mentality, no matter what coach it is, no matter what GM it is, we still run into the same problems, and maybe Woody's not calling the shots now. All of a sudden this year, he decides he's going to start, firing people without involving the general manager. I don't know, but the common denominator to this franchise for the last 25 years is one guy. Not that we can change that, but as a Jets fan, we have to understand if he's going, as long as he's the owner, I don't see anything changing. We can bring in new coaches, new GMs, and we've done that for, how many different GMs has Woody brought in? I think we're 5 different GMs, 6 maybe, and I think his negativity just overtakes no matter how good or bad, how good the GMs are. I think he destroys them. I don't know. That's just, I believe that the focus or the center of all this problem is Woody. But that's all I wanted to say. I don't think it's a coach problem. We don't have any leaders on this team either. I just think everybody's just maybe they're scared of Woody. Do you think that's it? They're just scared of him.
Andy, thanks for the call. I think the hires have been poor. James Dolan, I don't think is a very good owner either, but he finally got it right with the people he hired to run the Knicks, and now they're really good. By the way, I didn't see any of it because I was at the World Series. Nice to see Karl Anthony Towns drop a 44 spot last night on the Heat. How about that? That was fun. But you gotta hire the right people, man. I don't think they're afraid of Woody. I think Woody's just been foolish with his decision making. And look, Joe Douglas is not the worst GM ever. This team does have a lot of talent on it. He's made some very good moves. He just, to me, hasn't done enough to justify surviving this mess. So you got to hope now with this next GM search that's coming and coach search that will follow the GM search, they get it right. I mean, this team was winning with Rex and Mike Tannenbaum. Woody was the owner then. Woody oversaw Herm Edwards being hired and leading this team to the playoffs 3 times. Woody oversaw Mangini in year 1, taking the Jets from 4-12 to 10-6 into the playoffs. Woody oversaw 4 road playoff wins in 2 years and 2 AFC title game appearances. You got to hire the right people and stay out of the way. Spend the money on the right people and the right infrastructure, facilities, sports performance, analytics, facilities, all that. And get out of the way. I mean, that's what needs to happen here. Luppy's next. What's up, Luppy?
How you doing, Jake? A little depressing. Listen, Yankees made it to the World Series. I understand the gloom and doom. It seems like it's carrying into this Jet game. I don't know. Sometimes you just got to take your hat off, tip your hat to the, even though it sucked last night, to the Dodgers. You won. You won. Congratulations. But now we change hats. We put on the Jet hat today, right? We got a little.
Well, Luppy, the
We got a little
negativity.
positivity. Positive Jake. That's what we need, Jake. Jake, there's a smile. I haven't seen that all day. I want to see a smile. I want to hear a Jet chant. I want everybody to be on board because we have a chance. As small as it is, we have freaking Aaron Rodgers, and he can win it any day. And this is going to be the day. I'm telling you right now. Is it going to be misery afterwards? Who knows? All I know is we have Thursday night football. We have a game time. It's football season. I love football. Let's go. Let's go, Jet fans. Let's get behind this team because that's what we do. Let's now gloom and doom out the window. Positive Jake over here. Old thumb. Let's go, Jets. 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 That's what I got to say about tonight. Football season. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go, Luppy. I love it. The only thing I'll say is the Jet negativity. I mean, I started a while ago. Overall, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and act like the Yankees season was just unmitigated disaster. That's the Jets. The Yankees went to the World Series. All right. The frustration being a Yankee fan today is the Dodgers are a great team. No one's disputing that. But it's not like they just beat your ass. You fundamentally beat yourself. And look, good teams take advantage of mistakes. You give credit to the Dodgers for doing it, but the Yankees did that in the ALCS, right? The misplay right before the Soto at bat in Game 5 allowed Soto to get in that bat and hit that 3-run home run that won the game. You can't get the Dodgers 6 outs. And that 5th inning last night was Little League-esque. That was one of the worst innings of baseball you'll ever see. And it happened in the 5th inning of a World Series game. But I like the positivity, Luppy. You know what's funny? Let me check my messages here. Luppy messaged me on September 29th. Does anyone know what happened on September 29th? The Jets lost 10-9 to the Broncos. 8:21 p.m. I'm done. I've lost all hope. That was a Zach Wilson game. Thank you for all you've done. You're a good guy. I'm done. To which I wrote, I'll miss you, Luppy. I thought we were done with these type of games. I now have to kill positive Jake. Fast forward to October 5th. Luppy then messaged me. Jake, after a few days of reflection, I realize I have green blood running through my veins. And I will never give up on the Jets and try for your therapy every day. And thank you for your therapy every day. I won't give up. It's not how many times you get knocked down until you get up and respond. Let's go, Jets. So, Luppy, glad that you're still remaining positive. I hope the Jets win tonight. I'm not going to this game rooting for them to lose. I don't expect them to win, but I want them to win. Doug in his room is next. What's up, Doug?
See, if it wasn't for being in person at the game Sunday last night, also would have broken me. But being at that game Sunday, that just broke me. It took forever, but the Jets finally broke me. I just can't. Like, I know we're on tonight, but being there in person, you watching it there, I don't get how the hell we lost. I don't get it. I don't get it. It frustrated me. We were the better team. It just they broke me. It sucks, but they broke me.
I get it.
I wish if I would have rather watched UNC. Also, almost got into a fight with a Pats fan all game. Miserable experience. Pats fans are the worst. Miserable experience. But if they win tonight, it will do nothing for me. I can't enjoy it. It will do nothing for me.
Well, win and then hope that it gets them going, man. I mean, the goal is to win the next 3 and be 5-6 at the bye and get healthy and hope that this team could find something.
I think the only way I'm back in is if they get to 500 at 6-6. That's the way to reel me back in. Otherwise, it's hard to believe they're back in. That gave me no reason to believe they're able to go 7-2 or whatever it is in the rest of the way.
It shouldn't.
I was telling my friend on the ride home, I was renting him. I would literally go blind for 2 years if it meant the Jets would win the Super Bowl. I would give up many things for the Jets to win the Super Bowl. We must have done something in a past life to deserve this. That's the conclusion I come to. We must have been terrible people in a past life to become Jets fans, and this is why we're getting this. We've done terrible things in a past life, and now we're getting punished for it.
I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I'm out of answers, man. This season's been tough. I mean, I can't even imagine being at that game Sunday like Doug was either. Will Anderson Jr. named AFC Defensive Player of the Month. Anderson recorded 17 tackles, including an NFL best 7 for loss, 5 sacks, 1 pass defense that resulted in an interception, and 1 fumble recovery that sealed a victory. His sacks led the AFC and ranked second in the NFL during October, while also recording 12 stops at or behind the line of scrimmage, the second most in the NFL. Anderson has recorded at least 1 sack in the last 3 contests. Just one of the 8 players to do so across the league this year. His month of mayhem is highlighted by a Week 6 performance that featured 4 tackles for a loss, a career-high 3 sacks, and pass defense that was deflected to a teammate for an interception. Anderson's career day included with him being honored as AFC Defensive Player of the Week and becoming the 12th player in NFL history to record at least 5 tackles, 4 tackles for a loss, 3 sacks, and 1 pass defense in a game. Through 8 games, Anderson has a career-high 7.5 sacks and also leads the NFL with 11 tackles for a loss. This marks the 20th time a Texan has been honored as the Player of the Month and the first defensive player to garner the award since J.J. Watt claimed the nod in September of 2018. Can't wait for Tyron Smith to try and block that guy tonight. God. Needs to be Olu time the second I see Tyron get beat once. Hopefully they win tonight, folks. Hopefully they win tonight. 31-13, like Neil wrote. I'm dressing as a vampire since I will never die. I will see at least 1 Super Bowl. Let's go. Big win tonight. Hey, I'm not going to MetLife today to watch a team lose, all right? Last time I was at MetLife, this team was 2-1, kicking the crap out of the Pats, and I'm like, wow, it's time. We're finally going to get a season. We're finally going to be a good team. That was my thought. Like, as long as Rodgers is out there, we got a shot. And they haven't won since. Rich writes in, how many away from 40K? Right now, I have 39,965 subscribers. So if you want to help me, please subscribe before you check out on the Jet season. Thanks to everyone who tuned in. Once again, if you're going to this game later and you want to say hello, stop by the Gotham City Crew tailgate. They're in lot J3, so I'll be there. I'll say hello to anyone who's coming out. If you emailed me about tickets, I will get back to you as soon as the show ends here. I've been trying to send a couple already. JJ, I sent you your tickets. Tony, I sent you your tickets. I got some other tickets to try and send out. If you have any extra tickets that you're not using and you want me to try and donate them to a fan who can use them, please reach out. You can just send them to my email, transfer them that way. AsmanJake@gmail.com. All right. Thank you to everyone. Appreciate the super chats, the channel memberships. You guys are the best. We're back late tonight for a post-game show. That could start like 12:30 in the morning, 1 a.m. Depends on how quick I can get back from MetLife. But either way, we're going live tonight, and then Benigno joins us at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Hope everyone has a great rest of their day. God, I hope the Jets can win and just give us something to point to. But I guess we'll find out tonight. My name is Jake Asman. This has been the Jake Asman Show. Thank you all again for your support. I'm going to end with this video here because we're going to try and manifest the last time the Jets played at home on a Thursday night. Go Jets.
Here I come. Oh, here I come. Oh. Boom!
We're trying to change this whole attitude around here. You know, we're trying to build something special here. Get these fans to believe in us. They've been tortured for a long time, but it's great to be a Jet.